Hello everyone, my name is Mohamed Mosallem. First of all, thank you for coming today, especially in this weather. Today I'm going to talk to you about modern application lifecycle management with Visual Studio 2010. Today we are in very exciting times, especially with the new technologies that's coming out. People expectations for the new application have changed radically, and this means also we have to change the way we build our applications. So the business and technology are changing in a very rapid way, and we have to keep up with this. Application lifecycle management, especially Microsoft offering, has been here since 2005, which is the Visual Studio Team Foundation Server 2005. And from the beginning, Microsoft offering has been a unified application lifecycle management solution. So it's not only source control. We have planning, we have, of course, source control, we have work item tracking, we have build automation and reporting and analytics. And all these capabilities are integrated in the same system. So you can have, you can trace from one capability to another. For example, you can have, if you have a bug, you can file it as a bug. You can assign it as a work item to developer. The developer will work on it. The developer will assign it to the tester to validate it once fixed. And you can push a build after this, and you can indicate this build indicate a fix to this bug. So it's kind of unification of all the capabilities on the system. As we said, today's application are modern application. And of course, also we have tool integration with Visual Studio. There is also an offering from Microsoft, a product that's called Team Explorer Everywhere that allows you to work with Team Foundation Server from Eclipse. And we have also in the TFS, we have a set of built-in processes like MS Agile and CMMI process and Scrum process. And you can go ahead and integrate your own development process. So the modern application lifecycle, there are some kind of key activities in the modern application lifecycle. First of all, you have to continuously adopt feedback from your customer. You have to be working with your customer and continuously asking them about what they are liking about the product, what they want to see in the future versions, and what they don't like about the application. You have also to be continuously maintaining a high level of quality. It's not accepted anymore to think of quality as an afterthought. And you have, after you get your feedback, you start building your application. After that, you have to continuously deliver your application to the customer. So you have to be very agile in this process, in this whole process. So you build something, you give it to your customer, the customer give you feedback, and you start the whole process again. And Microsoft is trying to address these problems. So if we looked at the life cycle, there are mainly three activities or phases. First of all, you define what is the thing you are going to build, what kind of application, or what is the feature you are going to build, and then you start building the feature or the requirement, and then you hand it to your operations team to push it to the customer. And it's an iterative process. So it's not like the old classical application lifecycle model where you have like this waterfall model when you start with analysis and then design and development and testing and deployment. No, the modern application lifecycle is about trying to separate this whole process into multiple iterations and trying to go through all these iterations in a quick way. So delivering small chunks of value to the customer all over again. Okay. So If we focused on the first phase, which is the definition phase, what are the main impediments that you have when you're defining your requirements? You know that building software is complex, especially when you are taking the requirements from a customer that doesn't have an IT background. So it will be very hard for the customer to express what is he really wants. And I know that we have been all in this situation when we build something to the customer, we build what the customer asks for, but not really what the customer wants. So Visual Studio with this release has some features that allow you to focus on the customer requirements to really deliver to the customer what he really wants. Another more problems, if you have a complex solution, is to manage the conflicting priorities. So the customer will have many requirements, and each requirement will have different priority, and you are managing a limited set of resources, and you have to be careful about how you can manage the priorities, how you want to push to the customer the important, how you can implement the important things first. So we'll start a demo about what is the new features in VS 2010 that will help us in this definition phase. The first feature we have here, it's not actually a VS add-in or something, it's a PowerPoint add-in. So Microsoft released this so-called storyboarding add-in for PowerPoint. It's an add-in that you install in PowerPoint starting from PowerPoint 2007 and 10 and 13, of course. And this is one of the most exciting new features I'm really interested in this one. It allows you to model, so instead of building your application, you can, first of all, the customer will give you a requirement. I want to do this and that. So before you start building this thing, because if you start building and after that you discover that this is not what the customer required, it will be very expensive to change it. So before you do your thing, you will go here and model your scenario or your story in PowerPoint and then hand it to the customer. The customer will see the PowerPoint slides, and if he approves, okay, you will go ahead and implement it. So why PowerPoint? Because, of course, like almost all the customer will have the PowerPoint already installed, and they will be familiar of how to navigate through the PowerPoint. So this add-in introduced to you some kind of shapes. So you have, let me show it to you here. As you can see, there is a new storyboarding ribbon, and you can go here and see what is the available shapes. You'll find shapes for many different type of applications. So you have shapes for Windows Phone, Windows Desktop, Windows Store applications. And I believe there are some, you can go online and try to download more add-ins, more shapes. So I believe there are some shapes for iOS development. So if your solution includes like an iOS application, you can try to model it here in PowerPoint. So you can go ahead and add new slide. And PowerPoint have this built-in capabilities like layout, so you can have a master layout for your application. Of course, this can be implemented by your designer. So I have here a layout for my Fabricam Fiber application. And you can have like different layouts. Maybe if you are implementing a SharePoint portal, you can create a layout for SharePoint. Let me get back here to Fabricam. Okay. And you can start adding some shapes like buttons. Okay. If you are implementing like some new feature for existing application, you want to make use of the existing application UI, so you can go and take a screen. You can go and take a screenshot maybe or screen clipping. So let me go to my application. Let me take this. Okay. Let me take this clip of this grid and put it here in my application. So you can start go ahead and modeling your storyboard. And of course, PowerPoint has a very rich animation library, so you can model your flow. Actually, let me run this PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So the user will take, you will send this storyboard to the customer. The customer will run it in PowerPoint. You can add this animation. You can actually walk the customer through your scenario in a very efficient way. And even if you have, as we said, we have a set of shapes for Windows Phone, so you can show the customer how the user will also interact with the Windows Phone.
Can I model dynamic behavior? For example, if my application is Ajax or JavaScript intensive, I can model like when you do some action and you look for something will change.
It depends on your capabilities in PowerPoint. So this is a PowerPoint presentation. There is no code. So if you can do this in PowerPoint animation, and I believe you can do this in PowerPoint animations.
This extra ribbon, does it have?
The extra ribbon will give you a set of shapes and some capabilities like taking a screenshot. But the rest of the animation is based on PowerPoint animations. Okay. So this, for example, this hand shape, it comes with the new add-in. So you can use this one. The keyboard shape comes with the add-in. So so you can send this to the customer, and this will give the customer a really overview of what is he going to see in the final application. So, as we said, this will save you a lot of trouble of starting and building the application without any customer feedback in the first. So you send it to the customer will ask for some changes, and once you finalize all the stuff, you can go ahead and build your actual application. Another thing that will help you in the definition phase is how to manage your conflicting priorities. So as you can see, this is the new TFS Web Access. For me, it's an amazing interface. If you ever saw the old one, the old SharePoint-based boring one, you'll find a lot of differences here. And this is like a more social interface based on the life tiles concept. So as you can see, this is for the team members. So you can configure this page. You can, based on your team, you can go ahead and display the remaining items, or what is the items in the backlog, and what is the build configuration, whether build failed or succeeded. You can go ahead and customize all these ribbons. What I want to show you here is I will go to the backlog of the system we are building, and let's add a new backlog item, and we are using here a Scrum process. So all the verbs will be in a Scrum base. So I'm adding a backlog item, which is like a requirement. Okay. And you can go ahead easily and change the priority based on the order of the item. So you can push it back, push it again on the top. This is a very urgent one. And you can also turn on forecasting to see when this item will be delivered. So as we said, we are using Scrum. So Scrum is based of multiple sprints. So you define iterations. And each one iteration, you say, I'm going to build this set of features, and the other feature will be built in future sprints. So I can go ahead and see based on the velocity of my team, and velocity here means like the amount of time your whole team will work on this project. So if you're not satisfied with this one, if you see that you will be late, if you have this feature in sprint 5, you can go ahead and move it to another sprint. You can also increase your team capability from here. Or if this is very urgent issue, you can go ahead and say, okay, for this new feature, I wanted to, actually this is very urgent, I will move it to my current sprint. And this is the sprint backlog. This is the tasks we need to implement in this sprint. And as you can see, it is categorized by the backlog items. So under each requirement, yani for example, this new feature, I need maybe to add some specific tasks like the design as UI for this feature, and maybe assign it to my graphics designer. I can also add the more information, and I can go ahead and add another task for my developer to the new feature code and assign it to the developer. And let's say the developer will work maybe 10 hours in this one based on my estimation. And as you can see, the interface is very dynamic. Once I add some tasks and assign some time, you can see on the right it is reflected immediately, and I can see that my team is over capacity, as you can see from the red bars here. So this kind of gives me immediate insight about what's going on, what is the impact of the features or the tasks I'm adding. So I can go based on this, I can say, okay, my team is over capacity, and I can check the capacity for individual employees, or I can say, okay, some people will be assigned to my team 100%, so they work like 8 hours a day, and some people will maybe work 4 hours a day. So maybe I can go ahead and say, okay, this developer, I'm going to assign him full time, so I can increase the capacity, or I can add more team members, or if I'm, if I'm just wanna ignore this issue, I can go ahead and remove one of the current features and move it to future spring. Okay, so this will be, as we see, reflected immediately in my panel here, and I can see that my team is back again. Okay, so as you can see, we can very easily manage the priorities or how to assign tasks to different resources in my team. And we have a lot of features here. You can see immediately the burn down chart, or you can see where are you right now, and what is the remaining work, and when are you expected to finish. And another new feature here in the TFS Web Access is the board, and this is very interesting one, because as you can see here, you have all the list of the requirements, and for each requirement you have the different tasks. So I have in this axis, I have the requirements, and on this one I have the different tasks, and I can see which task is in which phase. So I know that the new feature, I have 2 tasks, and they are still in the to-do list. The people didn't start working on them. So and actually this interface is HTML5, so you can, if you have like a touch screen, you can go and drag and drop this one. So as a developer, I can go here and I see that I am assigned this task. I say, okay, I will take it and move it to the in progress, and this is immediately reflected on the server. And this is very useful if you are using Scrum and you are having your Scrum daily meetings. You can go easily and in the meeting, and you can exchange saying, okay, I worked on this one, and the remaining is 6 hours, and after you finish it, you can go and move it to the done state. There are a lot of features in the TFS new web access, but we don't have enough time, so let's move back. So we discussed the definition phase and how Visual Studio can help us. We saw how we can use PowerPoint storyboarding add-in, and we saw the new TFS Web Access. And one thing, there's a virtual machine I've been using. It's available online. You can go and download the virtual machine. just search for VS 2012 ALM VM. And this virtual machine has like I believe two projects already with some work items available in them, and also you have the source code for these applications, so you can go ahead and see what is the capabilities offered by VS 2012. So we're done with the definition phase, and now we know what we need to build. We took the feedback, we show the customer our storyboard, the customer accepted it, and now we have a clear idea about what we need to build. So we're now in the development phase. So what are the problems that most of the developers face in the development phase? So I believe the first thing for all of us is one is a loss of focus. So as a developer, if you are in working in a normal company, you will be working maybe more than one project at a time. So imagine you are working on one project and you get another urgent task in another project. So it will take some time to finish what you're doing in your project and then move to other projects. This will take some time, and it will even changing your mentality from one task to another takes some time. So I will see how Visual Studio can help you with this problem, the loss of focus problem. Another important issue is the quality. I know, and we are all developers. We know that because of the pressure we have, and program manager or project manager are pushing us to deliver. So when we're writing our code, we say, okay, later on I will try to improve the security. Later on I will try to improve the performance, and later on never comes. So we need to make the quality as integrated part of our work as a developer. We need to make it integrated in our development workflow. So we will see also how can Visual Studio help us with this. Another problem that we all face, I believe, is that, okay, you're building the thing, and even if you take the customer feedback from the beginning, you take the customer feedback and you build the application, and then you go deliver to the customer says, okay, no, this is not what I want. Even if you show him all the storyboard and stuff like this, because customers, normally you don't have IT background, and even if in the beginning they think that they need this thing in this way, but after they see it running, they discover, no, we don't need it like this. And this is actually very frustrating. So we need, in Visual Studio 2010, we'll see how, I'm keep saying 2010, it's 2012, and of course you know this. So we'll see how Visual Studio can help us in this phase to make sure that we are on the right road to meet the customer expectations, to actually deliver what the customer will really need. So again, let's see a demo on this one. Oops. So what I have here is my VS 2012, and the first thing you will notice is if you ever worked with previous versions of Team Explorer, you will find that they re-architected the whole Team Explorer experience. So now I have something called My Work, and this is will contain all the items that is related to me. So it will contain your tasks, your in-progress work, your suspended work, and even if someone assigned to you a code review task, you will be able to see it here. And I can switch between the different categories of items. I can go to the pending change to see the pending files changes. And you can also show only the work item, bills, documents, and web access. So I will go back to my work, and I can see that I have two work items. So these are the work items that are assigned to me, and their status currently is to do. So I'm requested to go and implement this or work on these two work items. So I will drag this one here, and easily I can. So you can easily, just by drag and drop, you don't have to go and open the task and change the state to in progress. Just drag and drop it in the in progress work, and you can go and start working in your task. So maybe we'll add some edits here or something like this. And imagine that you are working on this task and you are totally focused in this one, and while you are working, maybe find Outlook notification says that someone tagged your photo on Facebook. So what will you do? You go to Facebook and see which photo you already tagged in, and then you discover that this photo, you are not in this photo, and then you decide to delete your Facebook account. But anyway, so imagine that you are requested to work on another project. So the manager will come, okay, we have an urgent problem, you need to go and see what is the problem, and you tell him, okay, I'm just writing the code, I'm debugging, and just I'm about to catch this bug, but there's no time for this. So Visual Studio adds this capability called suspend your work. So what it does is that it will package your solution. So by your solution, I mean all your changes, uncommitted changes. It will also package your open windows. So if you have opening multiple files, it will package all the settings that you have currently on your Visual Studio, and it will put it in a shelf on TFS. So you're packaging your current environment and put it on TFS and switching to the new environment and work on another project. And once you finish, you can go back here and the Visual Studio will have all the settings will be available as you left. So you can easily go and say suspend and give it a name. So Visual Studio will take all my settings and push it to TFS. Even if you in your office have like multiple monitors, and maybe on multiple monitors you're seeing some code files here and some code files here, this will be saved also. So as you can see, I can see that on my suspend network I have this one. I can go ahead and resume, and it will take me back again where I left. This is a very interesting feature actually. Okay. So, as we said, so this is regarding the loss of focus. This is a kind of feature that will help you with this. Another problem we talked about is the quality. So now Visual Studio has this, this concept of a code review. So as you can see here, you can do some changes here, and let's see the pending changes. Back to my work. You should be able to say request review and assign who is the reviewer. Maybe you have a senior developer and you want him to check your code before you actually check it in. So you can request review, and this will be assigned. So I'm a junior developer, and Halabi is a senior developer. I wrote some code. I don't know if this is the right thing and this is the right way to write the code. I want to make use of Halabi experience. So I will say request a review assigned to Mohamed Halabi, and Mohamed Halabi will get a task like this one here. It will say, okay, Mohamed Mosallem is requesting a code review. He will look at the code and maybe you can add comments. So if I'm assuming that I will check the code reviews. So as you can see, there is a code review requested by Julia, and here are the files for the check-in, and I can see easily inside Visual Studio what are the changes that is included in this code review. So I can see that this developer is changing some CSS class. Maybe I can add a comment saying okay with me. Okay, and save. And then I can send the comments back to whoever requested the review. So this is a nice feature also that can, help you make the right code before you check in. Another feature is that in Visual Studio, we know that Visual Studio comes with some testing tools, and Visual Studio has its own testing framework, so you can write unit tests. In this release, actually, Visual Studio opens a test framework, allowing you to use other test framework. So I know that before Visual Studio there was an unit test that we used a lot, and XUnit. So now you can put any test framework inside Visual Studio, and Visual Studio will treat all all your tests equally relative of the test framework used. So let me show you. Here's a test explorer. And okay. Let's open any solution here. So I have the test solution here. Okay. You should be able to see here all the your test or your test methods, and this one is using Visual Studio test framework, and here you are using XUnit test. So all your tests should appear here in this window, and you can run all the tests irrespective of whatever framework used. Another features, maybe a small features in the Solution Explorer. So if you looked at the Solution Explorer, as you can see here now, if you have the list of files, of course, and you can see this is a class Explorer is integrated in Solution Explorer. So if you expand the file, you'll find all the classes available in this file. Another feature that I really like is this sync button. So imagine that you have a solution like this with multiple projects, and you are opening a file here in the editor, but you want to go and see the file in the Solution Explorer tree. So you have two options. Either you go and drill down till you reach the location of the file if you actually remember it, or you can choose the sync button, and it will take you immediately to the location of the file. Another interesting feature is you can filter the files actually with you can say filter by the opening file in the editor, or go ahead and filter by the files that I changed. So you can see the files that you have it changed easily here, so you can maybe select them and choose to check in the files. There are a lot of also small tweaks in Visual Studio and a lot of features that we don't have the time to cover. So let me get back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so I believe we covered. So we covered the developer productivity and integrated testing, continuous stakeholder. Oh, okay. So we missed one feature. Let's get back to the demo. Okay. So as we said, one problem that we all face is that after we finish the development and we go deliver to the customer says, okay, this is not what I want. Or actually, there is a better way that I need you to implement this. So, of course, this will happen anyway, but Visual Studio will try to help you that while you are building your application, you can make sure that you are going in the right direction. So we have this new feature called request feedback. So I can go here and from my TFS Web Access and say request feedback. So I will I will choose the person which I want his feedback. This can be maybe project manager, even customer. I just say request this user and tell him how to access the application. So maybe I can write here the URL. And maybe add some comments, and then you need to tell the customer what's the items you want him to focus on. So I can say, okay, please check this login scenario, please check this customer editing scenario, and you can add multiple items, and then you can say, okay, check the new UI, and I'll choose send. And this will send a notification, email notification to the customer, and also or to the whatever reviewer you asked, and will assign him to a task. So if I go here, and this is okay. This is like the email that will be sent to the customer.
this and changing the status of the work item itself to testing. You know, the process status of the work item itself, the process model.
Status of the work item between what? The feedback?
Now the scenario that you showed, I have a work item.
Okay.
It's called, for example, create whatever.
Okay.
So I'm a developer, I have a work item. You showed me a feature where I can request
a feedback.
A feedback or testing from a tester.
No, of course you can send the request feedback to any person in your team, but actually this is more designed to the end user, so or non-technical user. So you can say, okay, I'm actually developing the application and writing the code. I'm about halfway there and I'm about to finish. I need to just make sure that my customer, I am on the right track, so I can shoot a request feedback and send it to the customer. He will receive this and this one. And as you can see, it's more like customer oriented. So if he will get a link saying start your feedback, and actually this link will first time, if this is the first time the customer makes the feedback, he will ask him to install a simple add-in called feedback tool, and this tool allows the customer to open the application and add comments, take screenshots, and something like this. So. Okay, this is a feedback client for TFS. It's a free tool. The customer first time will install it, of course, from the same link, and then it will open the feedback session. The user will give it some time. Okay. So as you can see, this is the feedback tool with the instructions. So I have the application URL. So I will launch the application. Okay, and say start my feedback, and then I can go ahead and add any comments. I can also take a screen or a capture screen value with voice. I can take put some voice notes, so I can say, if you want to even shout at the developer, I can do this, and I can take a screenshot from here and go and say, please add a date column. And that's it. I can attach some files and do whatever I want. You can. This is maybe like the next level of the what we saw in PowerPoint. So in the PowerPoint we saw the mock-up of the application, but here you are requesting feedback on the actual application. So you can put your notes and feedback and submit it and send it back to the developer. So as I said, these are like small features that we saw in Visual Studio. There's a lot more features. So we took the requirements from the customer, we build the thing, and now we need to deliver it. And it's and most of the developers know that your actual job will start after you push the application or deliver the application, because after that you will get change requests, you will get some bugs, a lot of issues will come up after you push your application and put it into the user's hands. So what Visual Studio will help you in this phase is that it will allow you to quickly deploy your code and give it to the customer. And as you maybe saw in Halabi's session, we saw how to even publish even to the cloud from our Visual Studio. And this is also worked in the cloud and locally. So you can define in TFS, you can define multiple build targets. So you can say this build configuration will be for my QA environment, and this one will be for my production environment, and you can schedule this automatically. You can even say that automatically after check-in, go and fire a build and put it on my QA environment so that even the QA engineer can immediately go and test your latest check-in. The other challenge we have here in the operation phase is that, and this happens a lot, is that after you deploy the application on the customer side, there is a bug. So you have no idea what is this bug. It's just there is a bug. So what we'll do in this for this problem? Visual Studio, of course, if this bug is in your environment, you can you can debug, use Visual Studio to debug it and know what is the exact problem. But most of the problems actually happen in the production environment due to the difference in environments. So if you know, there was a feature, it was available in 2010. It is called IntelliTrace. So it allows you, you have intelligent tracing about what happened in your application. So in VS 2012, we have this feature. You can actually use it on the production environment. So what happens is that after you deploy your application, you get a call saying the customer saying there is an error on the application. So you will tell the customer, okay, go and grab this tool. It's a set of PowerShell commands, and because this is production environment, PowerShell is like very familiar to the IT people. So I will say, okay, go run these PowerShell commands and try to reproduce the problem in the production environment. After you finish, give me the IntelliTrace file. Okay. So the customer, I believe, he will accept this because you are not, you didn't touch his environment. You are just asking him to use a PowerShell commands, which, as I said, very familiar to IT administrators. So he will run the PowerShell and give you the file. So you will take this IntelliTrace file, and if you ever work with IntelliTrace, you will find that this file is actually contains the history of your application. So if you open it in Visual Studio, it will allow you to actually walk through the functions and code and see what values happened, what kind of exception happened. So it's a very intelligent way to trace your production bugs. And I believe I can show you this feature. Okay. Okay. So imagine that this is my production application, and people are working in my application, everything is great until I get this error. And so imagine yourself, you are the developer and the customer saying, okay, we have this error, you need to fix it. I don't have any access to this. So I can easily say, okay, just run these PowerShell commands. So actually this command will run the IntelliTrace tool, and you can point it at a certain application pool, and once attached, I don't know if that's it or not, but let's see. Okay, so now as you can see, I attach the IntelliTrace into my application pool in the production environment. So I will ask the user to go ahead and try to reproduce the problem again, and hopefully. So I should get error. Okay. Okay, so I got the error. Now I will ask the administrator to go and stop the IntelliTrace. And once I stop the IntelliTrace, I will get the log file here. Okay, the customer will send it to me, and I can take it, and in my environment I can go ahead and open this one, and it will open Visual Studio with the IntelliTrace rich data that would allow you to go and see what happened, what is the actual call stack, what values you have, what kind of exceptions you have. So this is actually a very convenient way to debug like debugging your application on a production environment. Just I want to show it to you how it looks like inside Visual Studio. As I said, this virtual machine is available for download. It has two applications with their source code, and the TFS is configured, and so you can go ahead and try Visual Team Foundation Server on this one. Let me try one more time. So you can start debugging, and you can walk through what happened in your application. You can see all the details you need to know if it's actually like if you are actually running the debugger. So you can see even which line of code that caused the problem. Okay, so now we covered like all the different phases in our modern application lifecycle management, and we saw how Visual Studio can help you in the different phases. Halabi mentioned that Team Foundation Service. Team Foundation Service is now it is released now, so you can go ahead if you want to use TFS on the cloud. You can go and register and use it, and actually, they have over. If you can have it free for if you have you have a team of 5 or less persons, you can go ahead and use it for free. Yeah. So currently, it has. It doesn't have all the features available, but it has all the most important features. So you can immediately have TFS web access. You can have you can use the different processes like Agile. You can have work items and stuff like this. And of course, all the missing features will be added after this. And as we said, they have a free plan for up to 5 users. So you can, even if you are, even if you are working in your own and you want to make sure that you have a backup of your source code, you can go ahead and work in this TFS service. By this one, I will wrap the session. We have I included some resources here on the slide. VisualStudio.com is this is the site actually hosting the TFS service. You can go also ahead and for channel line build event, we have there is maybe like a couple of sessions on TFS 2012, and there are a couple of books here. So the books for free? I don't think so. Okay, so any questions? Yeah. Yes, it's not 5 license. It's the it's you can subscribe in TFS service, and you can have like free you can have like team member up to 5 people in your team, and you can work free on the TFS service. But this doesn't mean that you don't. You must have Visual Studio and Visual Studio license locally. But actually, there are a lot of offerings. So if you know that there is a Visual Studio Express edition, and it's very also, I believe it's for startups or small teams, it's very convenient to work in VS Express. It has many features that most of the common features are available in VS Express edition. So you can use this one and work on TFS service using the free plan. Okay. Yes.
IntelliTrace. Is it a part of Microsoft Framework 4.5? And can we use it in our production server?
Yes, so If your application on the production server and there's a bug or something, you can go and ask the IT administrator to download this PowerShell add-ins and give him the two commands, the one he will run to start the IntelliTrace collection, and then he can go to the application and reproduce the bug, and then run the other command to stop the IntelliTrace collection, and then take this log file and ship it to the developer. Okay, so this it's not part of the .NET framework itself. It's like an add-in. Okay, PowerShell add-in.
It's free.
It's free. Yeah. Any other question?
Is this support us for requirement management?
For what?
Requirement management.
Yeah.
It support us TTS. For example, how can you organize this requirement, assign match this requirement with the days or classes?
Yes. When I added the product backlog item, means this is a requirement. So you add you add the requirement in customer terms, saying I want to have a page for admins to be able to edit this lookup. Okay, this is the customer requirement. So you will take this requirement and you will start creating subtasks saying, okay, for the graphic designer, please design a page layout for this page. And for the developer, please write the code for this one. And for maybe the DBA, please do whatever store procedure needed. So, and these are all linked together, okay?
Yeah, and I can match this some code with specific requirement. Suppose we have.
Yes. Yeah. This is, as we said in the beginning, because all these capabilities is built in TFS, you can do tracing across all this one. Starting from a requirement, the requirement will be reflected into tasks. The tasks will be assigned to people. The people, at the end, the developer will do a check-in. So while you are checking in, you can say, okay, this change set is actually is the implementation of the task number 33. Okay, and even if you after that, if you have a bug, the QA engineer saying this is a bug related to requirement number 22. So you can have all the tracing across all the different phases. Okay.
When you showed that during the Scrum meeting, I can go and change for example, I finished, it's 10 hours, I finished, and I want to increase an additional 2 hours. If I change the time, the full time for the sprint is changed automatically?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Because I noticed that I can set the time for the full release, and I can set it for the sprint itself. Is this true, or it's part of my implementation?
No, I believe you cannot set a time for the sprint itself. The time is you cannot force something like this. I believe the time sprint at the end it will depend on the collective time of the tasks. So you can say, okay, I'm working on a 2 weeks sprint, but you can put any tasks as you wish, and maybe like 3 weeks sprint, so you can maybe add more capacity or something like this. So if you increase the time, I believe it will be reflected on, if you see the burn down chart, it says that you will be late and you will pass the planned time for the sprint.
Because again, this is a problem for project managers, because project managers usually use the APM tools.
Yeah.
So
this is a valid concern. Mohamed was before the session we were talking about the integration between TFS and Microsoft APM Solution. So because project managers normally will have this project on the company APM, and developers will have their own TFS project, and between the two you have some tasks here and some tasks there. So Microsoft previously have this integration tool between the two, and still available here. So as Mohamed said, you might run into some problem of synchronizing, or what kind of structure you will use. How you will put some tasks here, how link two tasks there. So it's a good point, but especially for the Scrum, I don't know how to map the tasks here on the high level with the backlog items here.
But that's the topic for the next presentation.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay.
Can we use the tracing tool for project developed with PS 2010?
IntelliTrace tool?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure, and I have to check, but I believe it should be available, but let me check on this. Okay. Any other question? Okay, thank you all for the session again, and we'll take Mohamed. I believe we still have one session before the lunch.